Yes, sir.
Handsome man, very
You
handsome
look
man.
at Yeah, so are you.
So
Where are you
what's
going? You going to get donuts?
yeah, I just got my I got my 12 donuts. I saved you one, but you're not around. I'll have to eat it. Sorry.
Beautiful.
How you doing, man? How you doing? Long
Good.
time no
Hey,
see.
we're live. This is Brad Grunberg. I just spent 3 wonderful days with this guy in LA doing some stuff, maybe doing a project, who knows? But being around this man and learning more about him, you got to have him on your podcast when you're Daily Fish. Daly's out playing golf somewhere. He'll be back, but they'll be doing the Hope for Warriors Foundation Golf Classic very soon, and we want to extend a great charity to all the great soldiers in our country, and Daly will be doing that soon. But we have Brad Grunberg today, and Brad, I got to ask you something, man. First of all, how are you?
I'm doing well, and then yes, the soldiers are our men, women, and dogs. They protect us every day. God bless them. I just like I said, when I worked in a club, if anybody came in from the service, I always bought them as much beer as they wanted, because to be in the service is, I could never do it. It's like John Candy and Stretch. Where's the mess hall, right? I only want to know where I can eat. That's it. But they protect us. They're fighting machines. They're amazing people, and I love them. So just want to
Daly
give
will
you
be on
that.
the
Yeah.
August 27th for Daily Fish, but look at this guy and what he embodies as far as his body of work and how he started. I got to ask you one thing because you and I go back a long way, and you know so many legends in Los Angeles, and I'm going to show you a picture of a guy, and I want you to give me your dissertation of this man, and I'll go next.
Okay. You got. Oh man, Vince Scully, the best. I mean, there's just two of the greatest that I grew up with. Vince Scully and Chick Hearn. But
Sure.
Vince Scully was such a special guy. When he met his fans and he met his people or whoever came up to him, he was always genuine. He'd look him in the eye. He would have a story for him. And this is a guy who got it. He was so blessed in his life to do what he wanted to do tenfold, but he gave back. He gave back a lot, and he lived till 94. I'll take that deal. How about you, Fish? I'll take it
Yeah,
right now.
I'm in. I remember, and we're not that. I'm a little older than you by about 3 or 4 years, but we grew up in Los Angeles. We're lucky to have Chick Hearn, Dick Enberg, Bob Miller with the Kings, right? Tom
Yeah, exactly.
for USC, and then of course we had Vince Scully. And I never knew what a Farmer John. I said this on my podcast with Daly the other day. I never knew what a Farmer John hot dog was, or really cared about Dodger games. But I remember one time when I was 15 years old, he told a story about the Dodgers just did their spring training down in Vero Beach, Florida. Remember that, Brad?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Got stung by a bee in his neck in the first inning, right? And he elongated that story, how it blew up, and he had to get some. He never missed a call of the game. He was doing a spring training. Yeah, he elongated that story through every batter for 4 innings and made it that you couldn't leave. It was almost like when Orson Welles did War of the Worlds. You couldn't leave your radio. You could not leave your
Right.
radio. A great storyteller, and you were blessed to have known Don Rickles. So, you know,
Oh, wow.
it's that kind of legends we're losing that I'm we're blessed to have had them in our lives. The young people did.
No, I have to say, I mean, when you meet your heroes, it's some of the most amazing times of your life. I mean, Don Rickles, I was like 9 years old, and I watched him on the Tonight Show, and he was ripping into everybody, Ed and Johnny. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable. And I like went back to school and I started ripping into my friends. And that's how I became a comedian because I loved Don Rickles so much. Then later in my career, I got to meet him and work with him and know him as a man. And he was the sweetest, nicest guy off stage. But when he was on stage, he told me, he goes, Brad, when you make fun of people, you love them, and if you don't, you don't, because that's endearing. When I rip into you when we were on the set, Eric, I tell you, Fish, I say, just know, buddy, I love you, buddy. I love you. And here we go. That's what it's all about. We should all make fun of each other in this world. Stop with the PC and, oh, you looked at me wrong and blah, blah, blah. Again, everybody just chill. Let's just make fun of each other and let's call it a day and have fun and laugh. We need more laughter. We need such more laughter. I mean, what's going on in this world is it just breaks my heart. So I'm just saying, buddy, meeting your heroes is one of the greatest things in the world. And sometimes you meet your heroes and you're like, well, you're not like I thought you would be. You're not like you were on screen, or you're not like I saw you on stage. And that's sometimes, a heartbreak for people. But, the bottom line is, if you get to meet your heroes, like I met, John Candy. John Candy's my favorite comedic actor of all time. I got to work with him. I got to know him. He remembered my name. Sweetest guy in the world. I mean, amazing. He's Dewey Oxberger, really a nice man and so funny. I was doing a warm up for a TV show. A warm up is when you warm up TV show audiences. Doing it for a Dave Thomas. He was a Second City guy from Canada and good friends with John Candy. So John Candy was the first guest on the sitcom for CBS. And I did my act, and John Candy comes out. I give him these toys for his kids. He goes, I'm going to tell everybody something right now. I have never seen somebody like Brad do what he does. He does it better than anybody that I've seen. But what? John Candy, you're giving me a compliment? Thank you, John. I mean, I was just touched. I'm like, wow. Dewey Oxberger, Uncle Buck, the name, the list goes on and on. So meeting your heroes is a very special thing.
John Candy, to me, one of the greatest tributes to an actor is when a guy like Steve Carell, yourself, has done it. When the guy is a comedic actor, Adam Sandler, one of your good friends, when you play a dramatic role, when he played in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin, I still cry when in that one scene when he talks about that there's no wife. And I don't want to give away for anyone, but most people have seen that movie, and that you're right. So talk about heroes. I know this guy's your hero. I want to talk about you bringing the A game, because everyone says, God, talk to Brad about when he played the roofer in last season's episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. You got a chance to work with Larry David, who's the creator of Seinfeld. Tell me about bringing your A game and how you did it with it and how you worked with it.
Well, it kind of all started with my buddy who does my self-taping. If you ever need self-tape, selftape.com. Go see my buddy Richard. He's the best. Steven Richard. He's the best. He is just. He worked with me on it, and we found what we needed. Basically, I said, I'm getting this. I said to myself, I know they're going to read a lot of guys, but I'm Jonas the Roofer guy, and I've worked 37 years to get to this moment, and the only person that I'm going to audition against is myself. That's the mentality you have to have. Don't worry about all the other people in the room. It's you against you. And I just delivered. I just knew from the get-go. And, I was COVID. It was very serious COVID at the time. I was wearing a mask. And I just improv. And you know anything about the show, Fish, you can tell your listeners and your watchers that it's all improv. They give you a premise and you go. So when I knocked on the door and Larry answered, I go. There's no script, there's no words. I just create. It's amazing. You really got to bring your A game. That's my forte. That's what I've always done in my life. I love making people laugh, and I just create from whatever I got. And to work with Larry David and JB Smoove for, 2 days, it was incredible. Okay, so I'll tell you the first thing. I'm on the bed after I crashed through the roof, and I go to Larry. I go, Larry, thanks for having me, man. I go, me and my grandma watch you at Seinfeld, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights. I went over to her apartment. He goes, oh, that's so nice. He goes, well, thank you. I go, sir? He goes, you owned your weight. I go, oh, you like Gleason and Candy? He goes, exactly, man. That's why you're here. Thank you. And he was so nice. He was very zen. He's not crazy. He's really zen. And you do a scene, they go back, Jeff Schaefer, his right-hand guy, he's a director. They talk about the scene. They come out and they say, give you a couple of words, a couple of things, maybe go that way, go this way. And it just, and there's so much more that was on the editing room floor I did. But I was so happy, and so many people saw it, and it made people laugh. That's what I like to do, Fish. I just like to touch lives with my humor, and now I get paid. I did it for free for so many years, and now I get to get a check. But to find something you love, I drove a Lyft for 5.5 years, and I told every young person in the back of my car, do me a favor. I'm going to teach you something today on this ride, and I'll never see you again. Find something you love. the money will come. Don't do it for the money. Because I have so many friends that are multimillionaires that are miserable. And they look at me and they go, Grunny, man, God, I wish I did what you did. I wish you went for your dreams. I went in the family business, or I did this because I had to make the money. It was the money. Money does not buy happiness. We know so many people, Steve Jobs, Paul Allen, billionaires, they're not with us anymore. Health is your wealth. Find your love. Be happy. Like when we worked together, oh my God, was it fun or what? To see your punum and see how happy you were. We won't talk about the project, but I just want to tell you, it really warmed my heart because you were so happy. You deserve it. You've touched so many people's lives. People don't know that about you. You're really a good person, and you have a big heart. And you're a good family guy. I'm going to go on and on. You have a great Hawaiian shirt. You have a great Hawaiian shirt collection. I'm sorry.
I got this for $7.
Oh, really? You got that's a great looking one.
Thank you for the accolades. It's not about me.
No, I'm being honest. I don't. Listen.
It's about you, and what I like to do when we do these one-on-ones, I go down memory lane, and I found a couple of things about you that are just phenomenal. Talk about this. You were on Love Connection? What the hell? Brad? You still there? We lost you. What happened to your audio? See? You pulled you right out of there. Well, that's Brad on Love Connection. That has to be in the 80s. I'm guessing that the girl on the bottom.
Not.
What? Are you still there?
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm still here. Yeah.
What?
I'm still here.
This. We lost your audio for a second, but is this the Love Connection?
This is a Love Connection with Chuck Woolery. Yes.
Wow.
And it was phenomenal.
Oh my God! Look how handsome you are. Are you handsome now?
I know. I don't know what. Look at all that hair. That's a lot of hair.
Well, look at the young vixen. Has to be late. Has to be 80s. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you score with any of these girls?
I'm sorry. Say again.
Did you go on a date with one of these girls?
Well, what happened is you had to be 25 to be on the show. No, 20. 23. I was 18 or 19. I showed him my fake ID. Came in for spring break. I wanted to be on the show so I could go back to my fraternity and go, we're going to have a party. I was on the Love Connection. And Love Connection was really special at the time. And I went on and they liked me. I knew what to say. And these are my 3 girls. And I picked one of them. It was an absolute effing disaster. Oh, yeah. I tried. I was a gentleman. I brought her flowers. I told her, her mom loved me. But it was crazy. I tried everything to be a gentleman and do good things. But let me tell you something. It didn't last long. She was looking out the window the whole time. And I go, hi, Vicky, I'm over here. So what do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I go, that's it. Plan B, down to the bus station. We went to the bus station, watched the Cosby Show. I don't like Bill Cosby, but we watched the Cosby Show. We got ice cream sandwiches, and we waited like for the bus. But we watched the TVs, like have they have the TVs they used to have the TVs at the seats waiting for the bus. So we watched the Cosby Show. Then we got in the car, and then this girl was horrible. So I go, I'm going to goof on you, and we're going to talk about this on the Love Connection. And I took her to the Sinai Temple on Beverly Glen, and there was a bar mitzvah there. We crashed a bar mitzvah. And they go, do you know anybody here? I go, is this the wife's wedding? And I go, no, this is the Applebaum bar mitzvah. I'm like, oh, we're in the wrong place. So it was one thing after another. She was so terrified of me. We listened to some music. Oh, this is a good one. We went and listened to music at a restaurant, and I had my buddy at the other table. He all of a sudden started choking on his food. I swang over and gave him the Heimlich maneuver to save his life. Well, it was all set up, but look at you. No. He really wasn't choking, but I placed him there with an old little gag we did. So I saved his life. They bought me dinner. I was like a hero, and she didn't think so. And make a long story short, at the end of the night, she got like the car was still moving. She ran out of the car, chased her down, and I tried to give her a kiss on the cheek. And she kissed the air, like over there, like I'm over here, and then she's over there. But it was one of the greatest experiences because it started.
No, I lost him. See that? See, she must have got a hold of this video before we get him back, and probably said, you know what?
There I am. Yeah,
there you are. Yeah, well, I got the real story from Chuck Woolery. He said, "Take that back in 2 and 2," and he said that when they went to dinner, she put her hand into the bread basket and she never got a piece of bread. That Brad ate everything that night, and we know about that, man. I've
I
seen
did.
Brad on set before. I've seen Brad at Craft Services. He is Craft. Brad, before we get to what you're doing now, I heard you were a wingman for some of them. This is I heard a great story about you that you were in at the W in Westwood on the top with this guy right here. All right, listen to this story I hear about Brad. Look at that handsome guy.
It's a great story because
let me tell you the story I heard from top people in the business. Brad is at a table. He's got a bottle service at the W, very famous hotel in Westwood, very elite. He's got a bottle service, got 3 girls on his arms. He says, Fabio, you can just come over to the table and say, hey, Brad, how you doing? I'm going to score with all these girls. All right? So Fabio comes by and he goes, Brad, how you doing? He goes, hey, Fabio, can't you say I'm fucking busy? Get out of here.
True story,
now you tell the real story, Brad. You tell the real story.
That's a Don Rickles bit with Frank Sinatra. I love that.
Sinatra, you did the same thing with this guy. Talk about this. That's great.
I did Christmas cards for the longest time in the 90s, and I'm a grandma with all of the Tropicana girls where I worked, female mud wrestling, and I used to, give everybody these really cool ass holiday cards. So I saw Fabio at this restaurant I used to go every day. This really cool, believe it, a health restaurant. I don't know what I was doing there, but this really hot girl go there, so I went with her. So I went. He was sitting right next to me with his girlfriend, and as we were walking out, I go, "Excuse me, Fabio, I got to get a picture with you. Is that cool? And can you do me a favor? Can you take off your shirt?" And he almost took off his shirt, but then he said no. But I think it's better this way. And I mean, the caption read, "Happy holidays from every woman's dream, cocktails and Fabio." And he saw, oh, by the way, we go to the same newsstand in Beverly Hills. He saw the Christmas card. I gave it to the owner, Al, and he put it up, and Fabio saw it. And he goes, oh, my God. He goes, he loved it. No, he loved it. Fabio's the smartest businessman there is. He goes, that is great. And I happen to walk up. He goes, how you doing? I go, oh, he goes, this is great, man. I like that. So I go, Fabio, maybe we can hang out, you and I. He goes, no.
Yeah. Let me guess. If you're hanging out with him, and he, if you're his wingman, trust me, there's a lot of health food restaurants and a lot of healthy stuff going on in that hot tub. Brad, I have read some of the scripts you've written. Now I consider myself, I've written something that maybe, we're looking at, but I've read one of your scripts and it's terrific. Tell the audience for Daily Fish what you're doing now, because you have a lot of projects going on. And if you could talk about it, there's one I'm really excited about.
Well, thank you. I've been doing this a long time, over 30 years. And, sometimes you come out of the blocks really fast and good things happen in show business. You might get on a show, you might write a movie. But for me, it's been kind of a slow roll. But right now, I'm probably busier than I've ever been. And I'm happier than I've ever been because I'm working with people that I love. One of them's with you. Another one is a show called Wingman, where I hang out with your favorite sports star. I did it a long time ago, and I took it off the shelf, and I'm rebooting it. And it's basically like me with your NBA star. I get him to answer questions that you might not know about him, charities and his family and stuff like that. But we put him through the grind. We put him through some funny skits and some funny stuff that you wouldn't expect. And it's really fun. It's a half-hour show, and there's some people, big-time people looking at it right now, trying to get a big-time star. So I'm trying to tap into my buddy, Steve Kerr, who I went to the University of Arizona. He knows a couple of great NBA players, I think. World champion. That's what he is. So I'm doing that. And then my big one is I wrote a script with my writing partner, Sean White. We've been writing for over 20 years. And what happened was my podcast partner, Lauren Francesca, very, very talented girl, beautiful. She is, she's like Miss Side Hustle. She's got so much stuff going on, really talented. So she did a low budget film, and a low budget horror film. She asked me, will you be in it? Can you do this little part with this big time actor? And I go, oh, sure. Whatever you need. Cause I help my friends when I can. And all of a sudden I'm waiting, and this guy walks in, Tom Sizemore, the great actor from Saving Private Ryan, Heat, the list goes on and on. So he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, and it's a low budget, so I'm kind of helping him and doing whatever. We're in a cell together. We're in a cell in a jail, and it's all kind of improv, and we're doing our thing. And oh my God, it went so well. I said to him, Tom, I got to take you to lunch, buddy. I have an idea for us. So I take him to lunch. Within 5 minutes, he looks up at me. He goes, I'll do it for free. I go, wow.
What?
So we write the script. Oh, yeah. He says 5 minutes. He heard my log line. Basically, when you pitch something, a movie, a TV show, a reality show, it's a log line. You don't sit there 20 minutes telling them how this thing develops. It's got to be beats. 1, 2, 3, out. So he really liked it. We wrote it. It's right now in the hands of some really big people. But I also went one step further. It's a story about two cops, and I become his partner, and I wanted to show the chemistry. So I did a chemistry sizzle with him in the valley in a car. We sat for about an hour, 2 hours, and just improv. I just threw him all sorts of stuff. So we're on surveillance in the scene. We're watching this guy in his building, and we're just talking, because surveillance is really just sitting around until the guy comes out of the house or comes out of the apartment. And basically, I got such great stuff from him. I mean, he's a very serious, great actor, and I'm just a fat, goofy guy. So it really was great, because the last partner he wanted after his partner and him in the first scene have a bad thing happen. He doesn't want me. Trust me, he doesn't want me. So that's where the fun.
I'm looking at you right now. Your audio is a little bit scruffy, but I've never seen you unshaven before, and you look like Tennessee Tuxedo right now from the cartoons.
Oh, do I? Thanks. Is that a compliment? I've never seen
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who you look like right now. You're a handsome man, and we have a love of Vince Scully. Before we let you go, because you got such a great, and you're so busy right now, you had a bombshell. I watched you on a great podcast with Johnny Orlando's podcast. Give us the name of that again. What's it called? I'm forgetting the name.
Action Junkies.
Yeah.
This Johnny Orlando is a great guy, and he's an incredible podcast. Everybody's got to watch it. It's all about action, and I was on action.
Okay, we're losing. You're getting a little sketchy on your but I want to show you. I want to show you an icon. Brad threw out a bombshell that we did some fact checking on. He said this guy right here. All right, that's Tom off the diet. Has had 11 concussions in the NFL.
Correct.
Wow, Brad, that was when you said that. I said that's insane. 11 concussions, and he's still. Oh wow, what's your take on that?
Tom Brady is the GOAT of them all, one of the greatest quarterback of all time. But there's a problem. When you retire, you retire. Right. You don't come back 10 minutes later and say, "I'm doing it for my teammates." You're doing it for yourself. You don't want to lose the light. You got enough money, and you're walking around with your facilities. I am telling you, he lost his center. He lost his line that protected him. I mean, he's in big trouble.
He lost Ryan Jensen. He lost his Pro Bowl guy in training camp. I'm concerned about the guy. 11 concussions. Jim McMahon's had 5, and he said he doesn't remember eating bananas and Honey Nut Cheerios for breakfast 2 hours ago. But wow, hey Brad, we got to shut this down right now. I want to tell you, you meant a lot to me. I've known you over 30 years. We did a pilot together that was your show called Johnny Cocktails in 1992, and you gave me a chance to act in it. Only time I've ever acted, And I wish you nothing but success and happiness. You take care of your parents that are elderly right now. You are a hero, okay? And you do good for other people, and that's all that matters in the spectrum of Daily Fish. So, Brad, thanks for coming on today on such short notice.
Thank you. My pleasure. And you just keep doing what you're doing, Fish. We're buddies for a reason. We got to stick together, But thank you for having me on my show, having me on your show. And let's get this party started, buddy. We got some good things happening. But I just want everybody to know, just go for your dreams. Life is short, and enjoy the ride. Thanks, Fish.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Mr. Everything. Love you.
Love you.
Yeah, we were losing the we were losing his audio. It was kind of. I'll try and fix that up for our audio portion. Daily Fish is seen live on Mondays, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. We're on DBNA Network. We're on Roku TV, which is part of DBNA Network. We're on YouTube, Facebook. Audio-wise, we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart, Apple, Amazon Podcasts. We're on Wingding TV, and we're hoping to add this new icon to our platforms, HeyVegasTV.com. So Daly's on assignment. I'm doing a couple of interviews today. It's good to see you. Good to have you. Raider Nation in the background. The preseason has started. We'll talk more on Monday about that and some other issues that are affecting the world as we see it.